So let's take a look at the first impressions of the cast of season 13. Kandy Muse from New York City. First of all, her intro immediately hooked me. I immediately wanted to see what it is that she was going to do and say in the rest of her video and on the rest of the season. I mean, she called every girl that's been on RuPaul's Drag Race for 13 seasons ugly. The nerve. I loved her stacked red hair. People think she's a bitch when they first meet her, myself included. One time Aja was hosting my Saturday party, Glow Saturdays back in the day. She came. I didn't really talk to her because she just seemed very standoffish. She had very much resting bitch face. But as I saw more and more of her persona online, I was definitely drawn in and definitely intrigued. This is somebody that's going to keep us rolling and keep us engaged, and I hope we get to see a lot of her this season. The girl's already put in work. She's already a known presence in the drag scene, and I want to see her have this huge platform and represent New York City. Lala Re from the ATL, another Southern girl. I grew up in South Carolina, so I'm here for the Southernness. So the very beginning of her video is her complaining about gaining weight. But it's not even like a joke with a strong punchline or something. I mean, that's not her fault. That's more the editing, but it just seemed like a strange choice to lead with that. They included a little bit of her talking about the origin of her name, but they never actually complete the story. And this is probably why. It seems to be a reference to Delphine Lala Re, who lived in New Orleans in the 1800s. Best known as a serial killer who tortured and murdered multiple slaves that she owned. According to Wikipedia, her murders were discovered and she was still able to leave the country and die in Paris. It's an interesting reference and an interesting choice to make that part of your drag persona. I'd love to hear more about her justification for it. Lala Re lets us know from the get-go that she is a dancer and she has a leg up on the competition. I haven't stretched for months. No, not a good idea. I left bronzer on the wall. She does not sew. I'm not necessarily mad at this. The secret to the sewing challenge is you don't have to be a good sewer. You just have to be better than at least two of the girls. If you're the fourth worst sewer, you're fine. As far as her Meet the Queens look, I really liked it, but I wish she were standing up in this look. This isn't a look that really lends itself to sitting down very well. You really have to perch on the edge of a high stool with perfect posture for an outfit like that to really read the way that you want it to. Anybody with less than perfect posture in that outfit would have had the same problem. Next up, representing New York City and New Jersey, is Olivia Lux. Olivia Lux first came on my radar a couple of years ago, not long before she won the pageant title of Miss Paradise. Another queen to hold that title, my drag mother and collaborator, Honey Davenport. So you know that's gonna take some refinement and polish. If you can, take a second and look at her digital numbers. If she can give us that kind of production quality in her apartment, I can't wait to see what she does with a full-ass production crew. Her last name is a Latin reference, not the geographical location, but the dead language. The snob in me is living, and the look is giving us showgirl fantasy. The gloves, the train, the leotard, the hair, very much here for it. She's sweet, but she's still engaging and fun to watch, which is a great balance for TV. Next up, Rosé from New York City. Rosé I mostly know from her hilarious segments on Monet Exchange's Exchange Rate. She's laugh out loud funny, so I didn't expect to see her give us this much sincerity and be this serious in an interview. But I'm here for it because she's still got some punchlines in. I did like Rosé's look for her interview. The only thing was the puffy sleeves just were so puffy and the hair was just so not. I wish they would have balanced out a little bit more. Either bigger and more precise hair, or even simpler, take off the puffy sleeves. Just have the gloves, the titty antenna, the punk rock hair. That's a silhouette I can definitely get into. And she brings up using her platform to help the greater good. That's what I want from my Drag Race queens. Use your platform to help the greater good. Yes, thumbs up, Rosé all day. Symone. Ugh. So charming, love the southern accent, love the cadence, oozing with charm from the very first second. Who would have thought that Gigi Goode would have been the person to go to get a banji hairstyle? She's got the hoop earrings with the nameplate, the hoops in the hair. This was a Home run. That's not how you play baseball. Yeah. Sports. Love the cutout collar with juts the buttons going into a bra. It reminds me of when everybody else was wearing their skank tanks made out of t-shirts. I made skank tanks made out of polo shirts. Ho, but add a collar to give it some class. And then she balances out all that charisma and charm with a little bit of vulnerability, which she names Buckwheat Chow, her inner saboteur. So something tells me throughout her storyline, we're going to see a battle of what she's thinking internally and the confidence that she gives outwardly to the world. I think that's going to make for some very interesting TV and some very interesting projects after she's done with the show. And now we have Tamisha Iman from Hot Atlanta, which is what they called it back when she was... Anyway, Tamisha is a one Iman army. She styles her own hair, designs her own gowns, she makes jewelry. She couldn't make a necklace to hide that line from her breastplate. I don't know what happened that day and what they put those queens through, but something I noticed stood out to me. Throughout her interview, she focuses a lot on her age. She talks about what she could have done 30 years ago. She frames it more as a disadvantage rather than focusing on how much more seasoned she is than these baby queens. There's a lot of new girls on this show that don't have the experience that she could be using to her advantage. Also, we're supposed to believe that you didn't know that your drag daughter, who lives in the same city, was cast on the same season of Drag Race as you? Really? Then again, that NDA is no joke, so if that's her story and she's sticking to it, I see it. Tina Burner from New York City. With Burner on the cast, this season is going straight to hell, and Tina Burner is in fact driving the bus. And I can perfectly visualize that in that outfit. It matches. Shout out to Florence DeLee. She starts out with the running joke in New York City nightlife. She's auditioned for the show so many times for so long, and she is finally getting her moment on that camera. For Tina, it's all about the performance. I'm not sure if she means as far as like getting on stage and doing a number, but I do have to say we're living in a time where you can do drag and sell Pepsi. You can do drag and sell Klarna. You can do drag and sell American Apparel. They went bankrupt, didn't they? Okay. Not that. You can do drag and sell Travelocity. You could be a model in drag and never do a number again, but it's still drag, Dad. She is full-fledged glamour clown, and she is going to serve us over the top campy looks on this season. She's going to give us comedy. I loved her interview, but what I really wanted to hear is what she was saying during the B-roll when they were touching them up and setting up and adjusting the lights and stuff. Burner was most definitely fucking with the crew, and that was probably a lot funnier than anything she said on camera. Tina Burner likes to fuck with her audiences, so I'm sure she was keeping them cracking up all day. I want that footage. Come on, New York. And finally, we have Utica. Not from Utica Avenue on the A train, but Utica, Minnesota. The country girl. Utica is very obviously the wild card weirdo queen of the season, but she fully embraces it. She says, I'm weird, but I'm giving it to you at an elevated level. I have fully realized concepts, very well executed. I'm here for it. She's very theatrical. She's giving us lots of classical references, which is something that I appreciate. She also references Tim Burton, who hasn't been all that inclusive of people of color in his aesthetic, so I don't know that I'd want to glamorize somebody that has that perspective, but she's got time to make up for that. The Meet the Queens look was very Alice in Wonderland, giving us 3 hats on top of each other. She's giving us 2 different colors divided right down the middle, from her eye makeup to her lips to the fabrics that she used. Very whimsical, very theatrical, fully realized concept, head to whatever we can see in the frame. I'm here for it. Well, that's all 13 girls featured on this cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13. I think it's going to be a very exciting season. It's going to be a great way to ring in the new year, and we have something to look forward to after this disaster of a year that's been 2020. Make sure you subscribe to my drag4.fans. That's drag4.fans/Kareem McJagger. KareemMcjagger. I have all kinds of videos there that I can't show on YouTube or on any other platform. Photo albums, a little bit of nudity. But if you're into what I do, it's a great way to get some more content from me and also support the production of the content that I'm making. So who had your favorite look? Who had your favorite interview? Who are your top 3 picks to win right now? Leave your answer in the comments because I'm having a hard time deciding for myself. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I don't know why I danced with that, but it just felt right. I don't know.